Hey everyone, today I'm back in Lost Ark to do a video that was requested of me quite some time ago, and back then I said that if I was ever going to make a roster showcase video again, it would probably be sometime before or after Akkan came out, and well, Akkan is coming out tomorrow, not really doing anything in the game at the moment, so I thought why not do that today. So I'm going to go over the classes that are in my main roster, also the one that is getting kicked out tomorrow for Aeromancer, and I'll also kind of go over the horizontal progression that I have done as well, because I don't think I really ever talked about that on the channel. So let's get started with horizontal, and then I'll go over the characters. So when it comes down to my roster level, as you can see, it's quite high, 266. These are all of the extra stats that I have gotten through doing horizontal content, and I've got all of the skill point potions that are available in the game as well. When it comes down to horizontal stuff, I've actually kind of done everything there is to do. There are a couple of things that I am still missing, and some of these I'm also not really pursuing anymore. So when it comes down to the island souls, for example, I am missing 4, which is going to be Island of Yearning. I am never getting this. I'm not ever putting effort into this again. Spent a couple of hours on the island, got nothing to show for it. It's incredibly boring. I don't think I'm ever spending time on this. Shangri, kind of the same thing. Like, I know it's a guaranteed island soul, just do the island enough, but it takes such an incredibly long time that I feel like I just do not really have the time or effort to put into this, especially now that I have a job again that I am working. So this is probably never happening. Moko Island, I am working towards this. I do want the transformations that you can buy with the currency as well, so I just go there whenever it's up. It's also kind of a fun island to do as well, so I'm definitely gonna go and try to get this island soul. Unknown Island, not quite sure, haven't done this in a while. Maybe I'll go get it at some point, like if it's up and I'm in the area or something, but I don't really think I would go out of my way to get that one either. Outside of that, I've got just about everything, all the Giant Hearts, Omnium's Masterpieces. The music box I am getting later this week, whenever Phantom Wing spawns, because I need to do Phantom Wing one more time, and then I can go and finish my last Memory Orb as well, which is going to be nice, because then I get 2 legendary card packs, which hopefully that works towards my LOS 30, because I'm still missing a few cards for that. All of them Okokos. Ignia tokens, I am missing the one for Elgasia, but as you can see, the only thing I'm missing here are the collectibles, and Procion's Breath right now is so incredibly expensive that I don't really want to spend gold on buying all of these things, because buying all of this will probably set me back quite a bit, and I'm saving money for Aeromancer right now. As you can see, I've got over 800,000 gold. That is probably all gone by tomorrow, so yeah, that's why I'm not really spending anything on this. It's also not really that important because I won't really get anything from it. Just getting one more Ignia will get me the Vergris card and some card EXP, and I already have a Vergris card, and the card EXP I also don't really need that much right now. Would be useful to work towards my demon damage, I guess, which I guess I could show that later as well, but outside of that I don't really need it right now per se. World Reliefs, don't really go after these too much. I just gather what I need, which is usually going to be stones, logs, and then excavation or fishing, because I craft all of my own Orehas. Looking towards Aeromancer release again as well, I crafted a load of Orehas, which I guess I could showcase that a bit later as well, like all the stuff that I've prepped for Aeromancer. But yeah, that's why the World Reliefs, they're not really that high. I have collected a couple of these special ones, like with the pouches and such. I think I have like 3 or 4 maybe of those, but outside of that there's still a lot for me to get, but it's also because I just don't do the other gathering activities that much. In terms of the sea bounties, I've got 40. I wanted to get 42 for the second focus rune, because that would be useful on like my artist or something, but these sea bounties, the ones that I'm missing, there's not that many anymore, and Illusion Isle, that does not get run anymore. Alakir, I just never been lucky on this island, and Spida, not that many people do it either, and the rest is from shipwrecks. So hopefully, because I believe they're gonna like rework some of the sea adventure stuff in the future. Maybe that's even in the next patch, I'm not 100% sure on that. But basically, I've heard some things about sea adventures being changed, so maybe that will allow me to get the last 2 sea bounties that I need for the rune. If not, then it's just going to stay as it is. It's not a super important rune to have either, especially because I already have 1 legendary focus rune, and very few classes actually use 2 of them. So yeah, those are all of my collectibles. I finished just about everything. When it comes down to report, I've also finished everything here. She's a defection, she's a defection. I think that's just about it. The only one that I am missing, actually, now that I think about it, is this one over here, Ezrebeth. I did the other character, Krisa, on the island. Maybe I'll go back and do her as well at some point. But everything else is completely finished up to Trusted or higher. And then I guess sometime soon, like Tyrain and some other character, I think it's Nineveh, are getting the affection rank as well. So I'll just get those done when they come out. So let's then move over to my characters. Starting with my Arcanist, this is my main. I am currently in my stronghold, so my pet bonus does not reflect in my stats. I think she has around 1820 spec, which is fairly high, quite happy with that. Still have 2 legendary accessories, but that is because like this is just never getting replaced basically. That is just the best that I can get. And it's also a ring, so it's not too bad because it has less main stat than the rest. This might get changed at some point, but I'll see whenever that happens. I'm not really too fussed about that. Of course, level 60, I have full level 3 set. I have got 5x3+1. When it comes down to the actual engravings, I'm still debating to switch this out to Cursed Doll, but it is very expensive, and as I mentioned before, I am saving money for Aeromancer, so that's why I haven't done that yet. Also thinking about maybe getting rid of Raid Captain and putting Cursed Doll there instead, because Raid Captain has become less favorable because of like some raids make it a little bit harder to like backflip and such. So yeah, we'll still see. For now I'm playing this build, it does plenty of damage. It is the normal 3-3-2 build, like 3 blues, 3 reds, and then the 2 yellows, even though Call of Destiny is technically a blue skill with the fake flip. But yeah, a lot of people have asked me, why are you running this build? Have you tried 440? Have you tried the Evoke build? I have played around with different builds and such, but this build just felt the best to me. It's just what I enjoy the most. Same thing with like why I'm running Dealer's Flip instead of Quadra Accelerate. I know Quadra Accelerate is technically just better, but this is just more fun. And of course I would also have to switch out of my Raid Captain if I were to switch to Quadra Accelerate. But this is just a build I've been playing for a long time now. It's just a lot of fun. And this is my favorite version of Empress. Maybe I'll switch it sometime in the future if I do eventually get bored of the build. But for now I just enjoy the build for what it is, so I'm gonna keep playing it. Gems, full level 9s, these are the gems if you're curious about which ones I used. Basically, the 3 red skills are damage, everything else is cooldown. And then when it comes down to the cards, I do not have LOS 30 yet, but I'm getting really close. So I am currently 7 cards away. I have 13 selectors lying around, so 20 cards in total, 13 selectors, 7 cards away. Tomorrow, as part of the Express event, we should be getting another selector, so that means I'm 6 cards away. Baltor is now on a merchant, so if we subtract those as well, I only need 4 more cards. But I'm gonna say 6 because Baltor could still drop somewhere, or the merchant might just not show up for a very long time. So I'm getting really close to LOS 30, really looking forward to that, because I want to be MVP again when I raid with my static. And usually I'm not, because pretty much every DPS in my static has LOS 30 now, and I'm getting really close. I do really want that. When it comes down to Kazeros, I do have it at 18. I can awaken Kakul, Seidon, and Brelshaza. There's not really any point in doing that right now, because I don't have Theamine. So if I can't get it to 30 anyways, why would I waste the experience right now when I still kind of need to use it on my LOS instead? So yeah, those are my cards. I also have the PvP cards set up over here. Maxed out Guardian Llewellyn, sad. But I'm running this as well because I do have a PvP specific build for my Arcanist as well. When it comes down to books, I have a couple of books maxed out. I have most of the cards in the game, I think. Yeah, I have every card. No, wait, I'm missing 2 cards here. But I have just about all of the other cards in the game, a couple of books maxed out. Demon damage is around 3.6 almost. Haven't really worked on anything else. I'm probably just going to focus on the demon damage first, and then work on other things later. But yeah, that's the card situation. Now, when it comes down to my main, as I mentioned before, I have multiple builds. So I also have a PvP build set up over here for when Rowan came out. I am using this card set, which is kind of useless. I should probably switch this to my my Emperor card, not card set, gem set, now that I think about it, because it has more skills from Emperor on there. There we go. Engraving, strong will, heavy armor, kind of like the PvP ones. And then I also have like crit, dom, and swiftness on this one. And then of course cards you can't see, but it's the PvP card set. And then I also have an Emperor build. This one is more of a for fun build. So as you can see, my swiftness isn't that high. It's like 1700-ish when you do add my pet to it. It's mainly because my necklace is kind of bad, because it has a high roll in crit, low roll in swiftness. Didn't notice this when I bought it, so I'm missing a lot of swiftness on the necklace, which does hurt quite a bit. Engraving wise, just normal 5x3 gems, level 7s. I do have a couple of level 9s, which is coming over from my Emperor build, my Empress build, sorry. So that is basically, it's just a for fun build. I've ran this a couple times in some raids. Usually the place where I use this the most is in Hanumatan. In Hanumatan, this build is incredibly fun to play. And we'll see if Sonavel is kind of the same over there. But we shall see, because I haven't really done that raid yet, as it's coming out tomorrow. But that is my main. I have an Emperor build, PvP build, and an Empress build, which is the main build that I play. So moving over to the other characters, I guess I'll showcase them here real quick. I've already put Aeromancer in here. She's going to be put up to 1540 next week, or well, I guess starting tomorrow, because I want her to be part of my main roster, and my Slayer is the one that is getting kicked out of the main roster for Aeromancer. Although I'll probably be switching in and out Slayer and Striker quite often to still enjoy both, because I still like playing Slayer. She has completely build and everything like that. So I'll probably switch them around a bit. But let's jump onto my Sorceress. So Sorceress, this used to be my old main, and I was kind of contemplating on getting her to 1580 by tomorrow. Excuse me. But it was kind of like a debate between, do I get Sorc to 1580 or do I save all of my materials in gold and spend it on getting Aeromancers to 1540? In the end, I chose to get Aeromancers to 1540, and I'll just get my Sorc to Akkan later. This used to be my old main. She's currently on her Chaos Dungeon build, actually. Let me switch that over. I do have two builds for her. I have an Igniter build. Sadly enough, the quality isn't that high on the accessories. I would like to see this closer to 1800, but it is what it is. She's almost done with level 3 set. I'm missing one piece. I know it says 2 over here, but that is because I do have 17 materials in my inventory, so that'll be done in like a week or two, I think, which is going to be quite nice. Engravings, the standard 5x3. Gems, all level 7, but I do have a level 9 for Doomsday and for Esoteric Reaction, so that it fits inside of the Ignite window. I am still playing the old build, where it is running Inferno instead of Reverse Gravity. Maybe one day I'll switch to Reverse Gravity, and then I'll get rid of like the 2 cooldown gems here on Punishing and Explosion. But I'll see. For now, I still enjoy playing this build quite a bit, so I'm just gonna keep playing this one. I also have a reflex build for my Sorc, which is a swiftness reflex build. So as you can see, 1800 swiftness. This one is quite high. Running full nightmare set on this one. Engravings, normal 5x3, raid captain of course, and then adrenaline to crit a little bit. And then all level 7 gems, with the exception of Esoteric over here, because that's coming over from my Igniter build of course. When it comes down to the reflex build that I made, I was cooking a little bit with this. I probably would take Seraphic Hail over Explosion, but the main reason why I'm running Explosion is because I use this build a lot on Hanumatan. And on Hanumatan, you want weak point. And if I'm not running Explosion, I literally only have weak point level 1 on Esoteric, and that's it. So that's why I decided to take Explosion with me as well. If I were to use this anywhere else, it'd probably be better to have Seraphic Hail instead, because with the Backfire tripod, this does push you back, which might sometimes push you out of range to use Reverse Gravity. And it also has a long cast time compared to everything else. So Seraphic Hail just feels better. But because I'm doing Hanumatan a lot, I'm just running Explosion over here, and it also allows me to recycle the 2 Explosion gems that I have, whereas otherwise I would need 2 new gems to put on Seraphic Hail, because I'm not using that in my Igniter build, so I don't have gems for that yet. So that's why I'm running Explosion. Ideally, Seraphic Hail would be better, but Explosion, for the utility that it provides on Monkey, it's just nice. and also to recycle some gems. So that is my Sorceress. I've been playing Reflux a lot lately actually, so I'm really looking forward to the 8% buff that Reflux is getting, hopefully tomorrow, but we haven't gotten confirmation yet about whether or not the latest balance patch from Korea is in the balance patch that we are getting tomorrow as well, but we'll probably know that by tonight. But yeah, that's my Sorceress. Really enjoy playing this character. This has always kind of been my second main, especially because she was my main when the game came out, and then I switched over to maining Arcanist instead. The only character that comes maybe close to taking that spot might be my Aeromancer, because I played around with her a bit on Russia. It's really fun, so we'll see which of these two classes I end up liking more. Then moving over to my Scrapper. This is another character that has been in my main roster basically since the beginning of the game. She's 46, I'll get her to 1560 eventually. Playing Swiftness Taijutsu, but I do have one crit ring, which is this one over here, because otherwise your crit rate is kind of low, and if you drink the wine from Peto, Raid Captain still maxes out, so it's just fine. Again, just like with Sork, 4 set right now at level 3. I do have a 5x3 +1 with Ether Predator. The main reason why I did this is because I really like playing Scrapper, but most of the time Scrapper at the moment just doesn't perform incredibly well when it comes down to her DPS output. I know that's getting buffed in the next patch though, so really excited for that. But her damages wasn't really there all the time, so that is why I decided to give her 5x3 +1. I was kind of debating on switching out Mass Increase or Raid Captain for Ambush Master, but when I went to Trixion, it really didn't feel like the damage difference between having Ambush Master and not was that big. So I decided to just keep it like this, because this is also a character I do procal on. Well, I do procal on all of my DPS characters, but because of that I was like, you're not always gonna hit procal in the back, might as well just use this build, and maybe eventually in the future I'll put Ambush Master in there, but for now I'm keeping it like this because Mass Increase is on my stone. Of course I could get rid of Raid Captain, but it works just fine. Her damage is pretty decent. Even though like she's not that strong right now, I still MVP on her sometimes. So I'm just gonna keep the build like this. Maybe one day I'll switch to Ambush Master, but we'll see what they end up doing with the entropy classes, because they might be changing those anyways. Gems all level 7s, mostly just for the yellow skills, and then of course Death Rattle, and then the cards you have seen. This is the only class in my main roster currently that only has one build. I have tried out Shock Training, didn't really like it that much, so that is why I am just going to stick with Swiftness-based Taijutsu instead. I'm going to be switching over to my Artist now, because I'm going to save my Striker for later. So, Artist, not much to say over here. She is, oh wait, on her Chaos Dungeon build as well. Over here, this is my raid build. Swiftness not incredibly high, but it's good enough. I do have expertise in my bracelet, but it's because it rolled with dagger and almost 120 swiftness, so there's just no way I wasn't going to be using this one. This is the one character that has a full level 3 set that is not 1580 yet, because whenever I did Kyangle with my static, we would always funnel the bonus boxes to our supports, so that's why she has full level 3 sets. Normal 5x3 went with Vital Hit Point, because I feel like Vital Point hit is just more valuable than Drops of Ether, so that's why I went with that. Gems, level 7s. I do have 2 event gems, which is for Crane Wing and Starry Night. I put them on there because it's like they could situationally be okay, but I don't think I've ever ran these in a raid scenario, so that's why I didn't bother getting a level 7 gem for that. I do have one extra level 7 over here, which is for Inkwell. Sometimes when a boss does not require a counter, Inkwell does generate a little bit more gauge for you. Haven't really switched that out all that often, but it is something that you can do if you want to. So maybe I'll actually like get rid of this gem, because I really don't make use of it that much. But I'll leave it on here for now. Maybe in the future I'll switch back and forth a bit more. In terms of cards, I'm using this one over here. You have a plan to get the 1% bonus damage for my party. I'm nowhere near close to finishing Lost Windcliff, so I'm just not really going to be running that. Master of Spears, I am kind of close to finishing, but it's only useful in Kyangle, so that's why I'm not really putting any effort into awakening that right now when I need my card EXP. to go and finish LOS 30 when I do eventually drop a couple more Nineves. So yeah, that's my artist. I was planning on maybe making like a for fun DPS build for this thing, but in the end I haven't done that yet because that would probably cost a fair amount of gold, have to cut a new stone and that kind of stuff. So I'll probably not really do that for a very long time because it would just be to meme around in like Harumatan or something with my static. Then we have the Slayer. This is the character that is getting pushed out of the main roster for a little bit right now to make place for Aeromancer, but as I mentioned before, I'm going to be switching between her and Striker into the main roster, because she is still pretty fun to play and I do want to finish her level 3 set. Just like with most other characters, she has 4 set at level 3, swiftness not too high, but it's still okay, I guess. Her bracelet could be better. Engravings, normal 5x3. I do have movement speed reduction, but who cares? Slayer gets so much innate movement speed that I'm gonna be at the cap anyways. Gems, normal level 7s. So she's just a pretty normally built character, I guess. There are still some tripods that need to go to level 5. Actually, quite a lot of tripods that still need to go to level 5. But yeah, the main reason why I'm kicking out my Slayer is because Predator, in some of the content that I'm doing right now, like mainly looking towards farming content, and also Kyangle, the downtime that you sometimes get, it just feels really bad. So that's why I'm kind of like switching between her and Striker for a bit, because she doesn't always feel that great to play. Like whenever Slayer is good, she's really good to play and she feels amazing. But whenever like forced downtime happens at like random periods and your gauge just disappears and you're locked out for like 15 to 20 seconds, that just feels god awful. So that's why I'm kind of like on the fence of dropping her out of my main roster, and that is also why next week she'll be dropped for Aeromancer, at least for a little bit. Maybe I'll finish my Striker set to level 3, then I'll switch in Slayer for a couple weeks so that she can finish her level 3 set, and then I'll switch between the two depending on what I feel like playing that week. But Slayer, pretty solid character, she's pretty decently built, she does good damage, so yeah, just fun character as well. And then last but not least, we have of course my Striker. So here we have my Striker. This is the last character I decided to show because he also holds a bunch of the materials for my Aeromancer, so I can just like go to the Aeromancer stash immediately. This is a character that has been part of my main roster basically since the beginning of the game as well, but he's gone through so many midlife crises in terms of the build that I'm running. So currently I am running the full spec 5 spender esoteric flurry build, which is going to be buffed tomorrow, so quite looking forward to that. It's also one of the main reasons why I decided to keep my Striker in over my Slayer, because Striker was getting buffed, Slayer isn't, so I kind of want to play around with the buffed Striker. Now in terms of the builds, I have 3 of them for them. So I started out playing the esoteric swiftness build, which is this one over here, which is like 25 crit spec and then 50 swiftness. Of course, again, level 4 set at level 3. Engravings, just normal 5x3. Gems at level 7. And this is like the main build that I used to play when I first started out playing Striker. Then when I decided to get him up to 1475, when Clown was coming out, I ended up switching him over to the Deathblow build, because that was the meta build back then. It just did more damage, because Esoteric Flurry was kind of weak, still is, but after the buff it should be fine. But back then Deathblow was just much better, which is why I decided to switch into that. I still have my Deathblow build lying around, but I don't have it set up anymore because I just don't have enough skill pages and such. So currently my Deathblow build is my 5 spender Esoteric Flurry. If I do switch around some skills, and if I literally just equip, I think it's this one over here? No. This accessory here, Deathblow 3, Crystal 3. If I equip this thing, then I can just basically switch the engraving, because I do have both of the engravings bought at max, so I can just switch that around, and then I have a Deathblow build again. Currently I'm just going to be playing around with 5 spender Esoteric, 1 because it's just fun, and 2 because it's getting buffed. I've made this build like months ago at this point. I'm actually not quite sure when I made the video. You can go check on my channel. Like a couple of months ago I made a video which was talking about experimenting with Striker, and it's actually kind of funny how that 5 spender build from back then is now kind of becoming one of the meta builds for Striker after it is getting buffed tomorrow, because apparently on Korea it is performing quite well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how much damage I'm going to be able to do with this build. Ideally, Esoteric Flurry would be at like level 1 and I would have another level 3, but I don't really know what the level 3 would be over here, to be honest. I'd probably just put in like Ether Predator 1 if I were to get 5x3 plus 1, but I'm not really going to be doing that anytime soon. These are the gems in case you're curious about what I'm running for a 5-spender build. Cooldown and damage on all the big ones except for Spiral Impact, that one just has damage. And then I have 2 cooldown gems for my synergy and for my gauge generator / counter skill. Pretty fun build to run, especially because Spiral Impact is kind of good because it provides 2 weak point and a second counter. And seeing how you use your counter for gauge generation, having a backup counter is actually quite nice. So this build has been pretty fun. Now, that's kind of like the end of the character showcase. There are a lot of other characters in my roster, as you can see. My Destroyer is a character that I've always loved to play. I decided to bench him because like there were just too many other characters, like my main roster is already overflowing. But I still enjoy playing this guy from time to time. I also have 2 builds for him, Rage Hammer and Gravity Training, although Gravity Training I've only really used in Proco. Outside of that, Rage Hammer is just way more fun to play. My Machinist, I have just the Legacy build for him, Evo Legacy, the transformation build, pretty fun to play. If I ever get to the point where I have 5 characters in my roster which are locked in, these 5 are staying. Striker and Slayer, I just don't know if I want to keep either of them. If like that final slot ends up remaining open and Soul Eater does not end up finishing it, or filling that slot, then my Machinist might actually take it, because my Machinist has always been a class that I really enjoyed playing, and I've always had a good time on him. Reaper, 1460, full relic set, playing 4x3 with the Hunger build. I started out with Lunar Voice, switched over to Hunger eventually, been way more fun to me. Deathblade, I'm playing Remaining Energy for that. Summoner, I have a Master Summoner build. Energy Overflow Soulfist, which I'm actually kind of looking forward to trying out the new Soulfist, because that's getting quite a bit of changes tomorrow as well. Same thing for Glavier. Now, when it comes down to with my Glavier, she doesn't have a relic set yet, because all of the others have finished their 6-piece relic. Glavier has not, but who knows, maybe after the patch I might play it a bit again and join my static for some card runs in Valtan and Vicus to finish her relic set after all. Bart, just support build, she has finished her relic set as well. And then past this are just some characters that I have honed a little bit or have not. My Berserker I was planning to get to 1445, kind of took a backseat as I was saving for Aeromancer. Same thing with Sharpshooter, would probably play the Loyal Companion build for this one. Berserker probably Mayhem. Deadeye, I wanted to make an enhanced weapon build, but seeing how Pistolier's getting buffed, kind of interested in trying that out. Not 100% sure if I would. And then the other 4 I just have not touched in forever. Basically anything that is not in the main roster, like all of these that you're seeing on the screen right now, those are just low pang slaves, which is my silver count is as high as it is. Now, in terms of preparations that I've made for Aeromancer, this is what I've basically saved up. So he's already... so my Striker's also holding all of the card selector books. I've got 13 of them right now. These are all the honing books that I have saved for Aeromancer. I also have some legendary selectors over here for the class engraving. I believe we're getting 5 books from the Express event, so I'm going to be at 9 already, which is going to be great. I have, oh wait, Amulet, I'm going to put that over here. Amulet, some free boxes, some stones as well, hopefully I can get lucky with that. I've got some amulets saved. I have 4 level 9 gems for my 4 main damage skills, because I'm going to be playing Wind Fury, so that's just going to be working out just fine. I also have some cube tickets to get some extra experience. I've got some Sage Power over here, and these engraving books, I don't know what I'm going to do with all of these. I might just toss them out, to be honest, or just like use them. When I also have some of my bloodstones, I'm going to be using these as well, so I can buy stuff from the guild shop immediately. Outside of this, I also still have a bunch of stuff on my Machinist. I'm going to be switching into him, and he is then holding all of my honing materials. So as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff saved up. I would have liked to have more of the destruction stones, but I still have like some pouches I can pull from, and we'll get a bunch of these during the Express event as well. The thing I can't use here are the superior or I have fusion materials, so I can trade those over and then I can use them. And then on the second page, I have the stuff stocked up from the battle pass, because I have bought the latest battle pass, and these were the materials that I got from that. So yeah, that's the stash for Aeromancer. Hopefully this will get me to 1540, which according to the calculations that I've done, it should be enough. But if not, then I can always buy a little bit extra in case that is needed. But yeah, that's basically everything. So that is the roster, horizontal progression, and Aeromancer prep that I have done for tomorrow. Later on in the week or early next week, I'm probably going to be doing an Aeromancer video as well, where I'll kind of like cover my week 1 progress on her. But we'll see whenever I get that done. I'm not quite sure, because we are going to be progging Akkan, of course, tomorrow. We'll see how long that takes, because Aeromancer is probably going to take a backseat, because she will need some carries, especially through like Brelshaza or something. And if my static is busy playing together doing Akkan, then I can't really do Aeromancer instead or alongside that. So we'll see whenever she gets done, but when she is, I'll definitely make a follow-up video on that as well. Or maybe I'll just wait like a week or two where she's finished her ancient set and is getting honed towards 1580. Then I'll make a progress video on that. But for now, that's gonna do it for me. So I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.